So next I would like to talk about the technology review. So this part of the course, this is where we were assigned a project and we were asked to show the proficiency when working with other mathematical action technologies. So we were able to choose 3 different dynamic softwares to explore on our own and then record a video about using them, write an investigation. And so for the project, I chose to explore TI Inspire, Geogebra, and Desmos. So throughout this course, we have learned about the PIRIA model that supports teachers in their integration of technology. So this is the stages that the teacher should go through in order to successfully integrate new technology into their classroom, playing with the technology, using the technology, and then recommending the technology, and then integrating the technology, and then assessing the technology. So in this project, of the 5 stages, we are using the play, use, and recommend. Overall, in these videos, the basic tools are going to be explored and pitched to the students to help them deepen their understanding of the actual online softwares. So here to the left, I have my video, and as you can see, I walk through the different resources. So here I go into how students can measure the distance of a length, and I actually put in 2 different functions and it graphs it, and students are able to change the colors. We can go into the 3D model where students can draw figures. It's a great resource, and through doing the video I was able to learn a lot. I was able to actually explore for myself a deeper understanding of what Geogebra actually has to offer. So in my investigation, this is where I was able to discuss what we actually learned. So in the investigation, we start out by looking for standards for algebra, functions, geometry, and statistics that could apply to using GeoGebra. And then in the paper part of it, I talk about how GeoGebra is not only used for mathematics, but can also be used for other content and other subject areas like biology and chemistry. But the main purpose of the investigation is to incorporate interactive tools that can enhance students' understanding of algebra, geometry, statistics, and calculus. So I do talk about how students are able to create lines, segments, polygons, circles, parabolas, the list goes on. GeoGebra is a great resource, and through the project I was really able to explore that. I believe that the software does do a phenomenal job at enhancing students' understanding by applying these dynamic softwares where students can visualize in real time. I would recommend to use this to any school or county. I specifically have utilized the software many times and would love to influence that and integrate it into my own classroom when I become a full-time teacher. So for the next video, I chose to explore Desmos, and I had used Desmos quite often, but through this video, again, I was really able to walk through students the different resources that Desmos has to offer. And then so in the investigation, I was able to again look at different standards that apply to algebra, functions, geometry, and stats, how that actually applied, where we could see that in Desmos. So next I go into, in the paper, I talk about how Desmos is not only can be used on a computer, but it's also applicable and can be used on a phone. And a lot of students in our classrooms have phones on them, so this is great for them to be able to just quickly pull out, hey, let's use this calculator for lots of things. I talk about the different resources within the video and also in the paper. It is no cost. It's a graphing calculator that encourages students to practice and manipulate mathematical expressions that they can see in real time. I can grab a point and see the line directly move and then be given the new point. It does an amazing. So Desmos does offer a lot of already pre-made activities, tasks, assessments for teachers to implement into their classrooms created by other teachers. So all students do learn differently, so this online software provides a lot of different ways to learn, and this can benefit different students in all types of settings. And as teachers, I talk about it is our duty to choose, investigate, modify, and assign those tasks that will enhance learning for all of our students. The complex software can be used, like I said, to enhance student learning, but it is the job of the teacher to make sure that we're choosing and integrating the right resources for our students. I talk about how, again, how this is implementing different types of skills, seeing different types of functions, graphing them, evaluating expressions, looking at variables, moving sliders. It's a very easy to learn software, and I feel like if teachers really explore and dive straight into it, they will be very successful at implementing it into their own classrooms. So the next online software that I explored was TI Inspire, and I did not create a video, but I did do the investigation. And the one thing that I really am going to take away from this class is this software. I can express to anyone watching this video that I really thoroughly enjoyed TI Inspire, and when we were using it for the slope task, which I'll later talk about, I was able to really explore, and it was really challenging, honestly, and that's why I really felt intrigued with the software, because I was really able to see how many different things that TI Inspire actually did. So again, for the investigation, we went through algebra, functions, geometry, and statistics, found those standards that we could explore by using TI Inspire. So in the investigation, I start talking about how the TI Inspire is just like the calculators. So the calculators the graphing calculators that students see in their classrooms, the handheld ones, this is just like the online version of that calculator. So whether they are physical or online, students are able to explore all types of different resources that the calculator actually has. So it is applicable for both students and teachers to use on a computer. It is a complex software, and it allows students to perform computations, enter expressions, equations, formulas in the proper math notation. Graphing, they can plot and explore different functions, inequalities, animate points. But it also looks like their calculator, so I feel like that's a really strong connection because they see their calculator a lot. Where Desmos is a whole new software for students to learn, which is not a bad thing, but this is what students have been seeing when they first started graphing the in handheld graphing calculators that they were given. They, like I said in the paper, we talk about plotting, listing the spreadsheets, using the calculator. They also do have pre-designed tasks and activities for teachers to modify and to assign for students to complete. The written materials are well organized and allow the teachers to incorporate a variety of different types of concepts. What I thought was really awesome that the technology has to offer is a computer algebra system, the CAS engine, that enables students to perform mathematical concepts algebraically and graphically. So where they can implement different types of symbols, formulas, fractions that are also just like imprinted in the textbook or how a teacher would write them on the board. So I think this is really cool. And talk about how I definitely think that it is used to enhance students' understanding, and I would also recommend it to any school to use because I really thoroughly enjoyed it and how it allows the deepening of students' understanding. So finally, I would like to explore the last few quickly class samples. And so the first one that I talked about and I chose to talk about because I thought it was super, super cool is the Kaleidoscope that we created. It's an optical instrument with 2 or more reflecting surfaces tilted together. In this project, we were using Geogebra Sketchpad where we created a shape, we put circles around it, and it turned out when we dynamically moved the points along those circles, we created a kaleidoscope, and whenever I paused it, this is one of the images that it created, and I thought it was really, really cool to see this. Next, I chose the Ghana triangle task. We also used Geogebra Sketchpad for this task. There were 3 major universities, and a new research facility needed to be created, and they were determining where they were going to put it. And it was our job to determine where the facility should be placed, whether that be the same distance from the 3 universities or from the existing highways. So the next class sample that I chose to insert into this portfolio was when we explored the vertex of a quadratic function. And I believe this was my first or second time really looking at GeoGebra. And so I thoroughly actually enjoyed this. And this is where students are able to move a slider and in real time see the function move. So they can see H, and it moves, we can see that left and right. I'm changing this H value, the A slider, how it goes over the x-axis, and the K slider. I thought this was really dynamically, visually amazing for students to be able to see. So then we also do have an IDP for this, and then questions that would further students' understanding. The next sample I chose was the technology inventory, and this project was really kind of cool to be able to see in our internship classrooms what type of technology teachers are really using. So I interviewed my clinical teacher, and we talked about all the different types of devices that she has accessible to her and that she actually uses in her own classroom. Overall, I did find that the school does have a lot of resources, and it does try its best to provide for its students and teachers and incorporating the technology to enhance that learning. Next, this was my favorite project of the entire class. This is where I was able to create something that challenged me, but also was able to explain who I am as a person a little bit more. And so when we were asked to do this project, we were using Desmos to create something that really represents who we are. And this is where I chose to do ECU and the Pirate Academic Success Center. And so you can see the center of my project is ECU, and then to the side I have PASC, which is where I have currently been working for the past 4 years. The project utilized a variety of trig functions, parabolic functions, elliptical equations, linear equations, and so I would actually like to, let's open this one. So this is what my original project started at. I was like, okay, so like ECU, yeah. And then I was like, how do I really make this represent who I am? And that is when I decided to implement the PASC. And so here I linked to my picture, and then I list all of the different and how many functions there were overall. I think the total was around 150. And then I go into the reflection about why I chose the topic. And then, yeah, I really liked being able to, I like to doodle and draw and stuff, so being able to apply math to that was really kind of interesting and something that I would love to implement into my own classroom, maybe in like a Math 3 class where towards the end of exams, hey, create an art project for me. And then I chose to explore TI Inspire. This was a worksheet that we created that I really got to dive into TI Inspire. And this worksheet was all about the slope. So they were able to, actually I can pull up the worksheet. We could implement different text boxes. What is the, was able to draw a figure, insert a picture, list 2 different types of facts, provide them with links to watch a video, and then list different synonyms. It's very organized and very neat, different type of software that organizes things so that students can visually see it and know like where they're answering. We know that this text box is going to be for that. This question is for this. I thoroughly really enjoyed TI Inspire. So the last thing I chose was another Geogebra. This was the slope task where they were assigned the task to look at the slope of linear lines. This would be like an introduction kind of activity. So we can, this is the investigation. So they have the link to it, and then they were moving the points and determining if this was a negative or positive slope. And then the Google form was where I was able to assess students' understanding. Overall, this was a really great class, and I was able to explore so many devices, so many online softwares, and it was actually a very informative class where I will take a lot of the information and implement it into my own classroom. And thank you for watching.